Before we start this cosmic journey, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any astrological discoveries, spiritual tips and secrets to turn your potential into reality. We are building an incredible community here, and your support is essential for us to continue bringing more content full of meaning, wisdom, and magic. Have you ever felt like you inhabit an ocean of feelings, while the world around you seems to float on the surface? Ever have you had the feeling that your emotions are so vast that few people can really grasp them? Those who carry the essence of Pisces often know this experience well. It's like having a radar into the hidden currents of life, noticing every vibration, every unspoken whisper. But with this expanded perception comes a challenge: the difficulty of finding someone who understands the true dimension of your inner world. If you identified yourself, this space was designed for you. This video offers an empathetic insight into the lonely journey that Pisces can experience, without any kind of judgment, only with the intention of offering understanding and validation. We want to build a community where you can feel truly welcomed. Therefore, we invite you to share your own experiences and stories in the comments. Your voice is important, and your perception can light the way for others. To strengthen our connection and reaffirm your own strength, we will repeat a mantra together. It is a reminder of the power that resides in your sensitive nature. Say it to yourself, and if it resonates, write in the comments so that more people feel that energy. I embrace my depth and allow myself to feel. My sensitivity is my strength. Your presence here is already a step towards acceptance. If this content has already touched your heart, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving your like. Thus, we ensure that more attuned souls can discover this refuge. For those who are Pisces, feeling is not just an action, it is a mode of existence. You do not pick up emotions in passing, you reside in them, as if each feeling were a temporary abode within you. This unique ability manifests itself in remarkable empathy, a compassion that reaches the innermost fibers of the being, and a genuine ability to establish meaningful bonds with other people at a very high level of connection. For example, when a friend vents, you don't just listen, you absorb his emotional charge, feeling in your own skin the joy or anguish transmitted. News of global suffering, which for many is just distant information, can move you in such a palpable way that it feels like you have experienced it personally. There is a keen Pisces perception for the unsaid, for the underlying currents in any interaction. You read between the lines, detect unexpressed emotions, and are able to grasp truths that escape most people. It's like having a sixth sense for emotional atmospheres. However, this powerful emotional experience does not come without its difficulties. Such an ability to feel intensely can lead to overwhelming overload. It is challenging to protect yourself when the emotions of others seem to invade your own space. This fusion with external feelings can exhaust your energy and make the task of separating what is yours from what belongs to the other arduous. Finding ways to preserve your vitality and create subtle barriers is a continuous learning process to maintain balance. The sensitivity of Pisces, although it is a trait of great value, often encounters barriers in the understanding of others, and this can become a real burden. It is common for this characteristic to be minimized, sometimes even a reason for ridicule, or labeled as exaggerated by those who cannot measure its real amplitude. What for you is a genuine reading of the environment, for others may seem like an unnecessary excess. How many times have you heard, "You're dramatizing. It's not a reason for so much excitement," or "You need to be more resilient"? Phrases like these, uttered with the best or worst of intentions, can erode self-esteem and undermine the confidence of the listener. One begins to question one's own perception, to doubt the validity of one's own feelings. This lack of validation, of recognition of their way of experiencing the world generates a deep sense of isolation. You feel like you're on an island, surrounded by a fog of misunderstandings. The feeling is that no matter how much he tries to express his inner universe, he remains invisible or incomprehensible to others. Faced with the absence of appreciation of their delicate way of feeling, Pisces often adopts a posture of recollection. To avoid judgments or the repetition of these painful observations, the tendency is to hide emotions, to keep them to themselves. It is a form of protection, an attempt to spare oneself the pain of non-acceptance. But in doing so, an additional burden is carried, that of living with a veiled part of oneself. After experiencing the exhaustion of incomprehension, Pisces often find security in seclusion, a vital mechanism of self-preservation. It is in this silent corner that the Piscean soul manages to recompose itself. The calm and the condition of being alone become a safe haven, a private sanctuary where it is possible to reconnect with one's own essence, digest the torrent of assimilated emotions, and replenish the energies that have been drained by the external world. Being with yourself in your own space of tranquility is not merely an escape, but a conscious choice that brings significant benefits. It is in this recollection that Pisces accesses a deeper knowledge about himself, dedicating himself to uninterrupted reflection. It is where creativity flows unimpeded, whether through art, writing, or any imaginative manifestation. Activities such as meditation, reading good books, or merely contemplating nature become sacred rituals, which nourish the spirit and re-establish inner harmony. However, this search for a shelter in stillness presents its own challenges. Isolation, while protective, can occasionally lead to a sense of loneliness, even for those who seek it. Maintaining healthy interpersonal bonds can become an arduous task when the tendency is to drift away. Finding the right measure between the necessary protection and the vital connection with others is a constant exercise of discernment, a journey to harmonize the need for inner peace with the desire to share existence. The sensitivity of Pisces, which allows you to access the immensity of the other, also brings with it the inclination for an intense idealization of people and relationships. There is an innate tendency to hold on to the potential that is glimpsed in others, that light that the Piscean imagination projects, instead of focusing on the real person who manifests himself in his fullness. It is like painting a magnificent picture in the mind, with vibrant colors of possibilities and virtues not yet fully developed. This propensity to idealize establishes a set of expectations that are often far from concrete reality. The result is a painful path towards disillusionment when the scenario built in the mind collides with the truth of coexistence. This manifests itself in various bonds, from romantic passions to the closest friendships. Pisces can dedicate themselves intensely to someone, waiting for that perfect image to materialize, only to find themselves confronted with the human flaws and imperfections that are inherent to all of us. When reality does not align with the expectations created, pain and sadness set in. It is not just the frustration of an unattained ideal, but a genuine anguish over the loss of something that, for Pisces, seemed so palpable and promising. The delicacy of the Piscean soul feels this discrepancy sharply, and recovery from this type of disappointment can take time, leaving deep marks on the heart. After the succession of idealizations and the consequent disappointments, Pisces learns, often through suffering, to erect a kind of protective barrier. It is an invisible armor, built not of iron, but of a subtle emotional detachment, a heightened caution that aims to protect the heart from future hurts. This defense translates into a hesitation to place full trust in others and a fear of exposing oneself, of opening oneself up to new connections that could, once again, culminate in disappointment. The manifestation of this shielding is noticeable in the difficulty of surrendering completely. There is a reluctance to allow others to access the vast and sensitive inner world of Pisces, a fear that their depth will again be misunderstood or hurt. While this armor offers an immediate sense of security, it poses its own challenges. Loneliness, which was already a refuge, can become a heavy burden when it prevents the formation of true and deep bonds. The search for genuine happiness can seem more arduous, as excessive protection limits the ability to live full experiences and connect with the joy that resides in sharing. The key, then, is not to maintain this protection inflexibly, but to find a delicate balance. It is essential to recognize the validity of vulnerability, understanding that true connection comes when there is courage to show yourself, even with the risks. Protection is valid, but it must be dosed with the freedom to feel and allow life, in its complexity, to manifest itself. Despite external pressures and the need for protection, the Piscean soul finds a vast refuge in its inner panorama. This particular universe is where Pisces seeks comfort, is the origin of his inspiration, and where he discovers a deep meaning to life. In it, dreams are not just night visions. They serve as portals to the subconscious, revealing hidden truths and opening paths to understanding. The imagination unfolds freely, creating scenarios and narratives that offer escape and, at the same time, function as tools to process reality. The connection with the spiritual, whatever its manifestation, is a pillar of support, a link with something greater that transcends the palpable and the immediate. This personal sanctuary is constantly nourished by a variety of activities. Artistic expression, in all its forms, is a direct channel to this dimension. The music, with its melodies and harmonies, resonates with the emotional depth of Pisces. Meditative practices and moments of silent contemplation offer the key to self-knowledge and inner harmony. It is in this space that Pisces truly expands, without the constraints of the material world. However, inhabiting such an expansive realm also has its particularities. There is a difficulty in remaining completely anchored in the concreteness of everyday life. And sometimes the line between what is real and what is conceived by the mind can become blurred. The ease with which Pisces can get lost in daydreams and fantasies is a characteristic that, although it provides escapism, requires a conscious effort to return to the present reality. It is a continuous exercise of balance between the ethereal and the earthly. Connecting to the richness of the inner world, the sensitivity of Pisces reveals itself as a singular capacity of a dual nature. It is, without a doubt, an extraordinary gift, a lens that allows you to view the world with a sharpness and depth that most people do not reach. Through it, Pisces establishes authentic connections with the environment and people, understanding the nuances and hidden layers of existence. This keen perception is the engine of his creativity, driving expression in various artistic forms, and the basis of his genuine empathy, which leads him to understand the pains and joys of others as if they were his own. Intuition, combined with this sensitivity, guides him along paths that logic does not always reach. However, this same sensitivity, which acts as a beacon, also acts as an open wound. It makes Pisces vulnerable to the pain of others, the injustice of the world, and the emotional overload that comes from the environment. Every disharmony, every perceived suffering can resonate with intensity within oneself. It's like having thinner skin, more exposed to the elements. The ability to absorb the emotions of others, while an aspect of your compassion, can lead to considerable burnout, making it difficult to maintain your own energy and well-being. Dealing with this duality is a constant challenge. You need to learn to discern which feelings are your own and which have been picked up, and develop strategies to protect your inner space without losing your essential connection to the world. The sensitivity of Pisces is an immense force, capable of transforming and inspiring, but it also requires continuous care so that it does not become an excessive burden, but rather a source of power and light. Complementing the heightened sensitivity, Pisces' strong intuition acts as an inner guide, an invaluable compass in the complex currents of existence. It manifests itself as a knowledge that precedes logic, a perception that arises in an almost inexplicable way, but which proves to be surprisingly accurate. This ability assists Pisces in making meaningful decisions, often avoiding unfavorable situations and directing them towards what is truly important to their purpose and well-being. Pisces' intuition can emerge in flashes of clarity in times of uncertainty, like an inner voice that suggests the best way forward. On the personal level, it can warn about the veracity of other people's intentions, or indicate an opportunity that reason may not have perceived. In the creative field, it is the spark that ignites innovative ideas. In personal relationships, it allows a keen reading of non-verbalized situations, understanding what is happening even before something is said. Despite its value, fully trusting this inner voice can be a complex exercise. Doubt often intrudes, questioning the validity of a presentiment with no apparent basis. The fear of being wrong or going down an unconventional path can shake confidence. Moreover, the predominance of reason in the outside world, which values concrete facts and data, sometimes tries to silence this subtle wisdom. Cultivating this intuition and learning to discern your message amidst external noise is an ongoing process for Pisces, a learning that, when mastered, proves to be one of your greatest powers. Continuing the journey through intuition, we come to one of the most striking traits of the Piscean identity, its vast compassion. This is not a passing feeling, but a driving force that drives Pisces to perceive the grief of others and to actively dedicate themselves to alleviating suffering, contributing to a more harmonious existence for all. There is an inherent sensitivity that makes a stranger's anguish resonate as deeply as that of a loved one. For Pisces, concern for the suffering of others is not limited to mere lament. It translates into action. Whether dedicating time and energy to social causes, offering a shoulder to those in need, or simply being authentically present in times of difficulty, the Piscean soul actively seeks to be a point of support and consolation. This penchant for aid manifests itself in countless gestures, from volunteering in humanitarian initiatives to a willingness to listen without judgment, providing a safe space for people to express themselves. However, this unrestricted delivery can present considerable challenges. The constant absorption of the world's pains and dedication to others can lead to significant burnout, resulting in physical and emotional exhaustion. The tendency to put the needs of others above one's own can lead to self-neglect, forgetting the importance of taking care of one's own well-being. In addition, setting healthy boundaries becomes an arduous task, as the desire to help is so strong that no feels like a failure. Finding a balance between generosity of spirit and the preservation of one's own energy is an ongoing lesson for Pisces, vital for that flame of compassion to continue to glow without being consumed. After exploring the nuances of compassion and its challenges, it is essential for Pisces to find a harmony between their solitary essence and the need for connection. Solitude, often seen as a burden, actually offers a fertile field for the Piscean soul, a place where self-awareness flourishes and vitality is renewed. Away from the external turmoil, silence becomes an ally, allowing Pisces to regroup, reflect on their experiences, and access their source of creative inspiration without interruption. Therefore, it is an invitation to celebrate this inclination for solitude, recognizing it not as an escape, but as a necessary act of self-care. This time with yourself is an essential investment for well-being, a valuable time to recharge and reconnect with the truth within. At the same time, it is crucial that Pisces opens up to genuine and meaningful bonds. True harmony lies in the ability to move between the rich inner world and relationships with others. Seeking friendships and partnerships that understand and value your depth is fundamental. This may involve carefully selecting companies, prioritizing those that offer listening and respect. Joining groups with shared interests or that align with your values can create an environment conducive to authentic bonds. The key lies in allowing solitude to nourish the soul, while authentic connections enrich life by creating a harmonious dance between the inner being and the surrounding universe. For everyone who has followed this exploration of the nature of Pisces, we want one message to resonate clearly. You are not isolated in your feelings, no matter how broad or complex they may seem. The sense of not belonging, the intensity of emotions, boundless compassion, all of this is part of an experience shared by many, even if silently. Your emotional depth is not a burden, but a valuable gift to the world. It is this sensitivity that allows you to perceive the nuances of life, to connect genuinely with others, and to offer a perspective of empathy and care that is so necessary in current times. Accepting who you are, with all your inner richness and your ability to feel, is the first step to a fulfilling life. Trust that inner voice, that intuition that guides you through the currents of existence. It is your most faithful compass. Do not hesitate to share your stories, your experiences, and your perceptions. By doing so, you not only break free, but also inspire and offer validation to others who walk a similar path. Remember, your journey is unique, but the experience of being deeply sensitive connects us. Reaffirm this truth with our mantra, I embrace my depth and allow myself to feel. My sensitivity is my strength. Repeat it whenever you need to. If this content has touched your heart, we invite you to join our community. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone who can benefit from this message. Together, we are stronger, and your light in all its depth is a gift to all of us. After recognizing the richness of your nature, the next step for the Piscean soul is how to live with this expanded sensitivity in everyday life. It's not about diminishing who you are, but about learning to handle this gift masterfully. Your ability to feel with great intensity, to absorb environments and emotions, can be both a source of inspiration and exhaustion. The secret lies in developing concrete strategies to manage your energy and setting clear limits. Start by identifying the times and places that drain your vitality. Don't force yourself to stay in situations or company that strain your energy. Creating a personal sanctuary, even if it's just a quiet corner in your home, is essential to recharge your batteries. Daily practices like meditation, brief mindfulness exercises, or simply a few minutes of silence can make a noticeable difference. Also consider grounding techniques, such as contact with nature or breathing exercises, to return to your center when you feel dispersed. Setting limits is fundamental. This may mean learning to say no to invitations that don't resonate or requests that exceed your capacity. It is an act of self-love, not selfishness. Communicate your needs calmly and assertively without excessive justification. Remember that your sensitivity is a strength. It allows for compassion and creativity, but to flourish, it needs well-tended ground. Allow yourself to be receptive to life, but with the wisdom to protect your energy field. Continuing the journey of integration, addressing relationships is a crucial step for Pisces, especially considering the tendency toward idealization and consequent disillusionment that we have already discussed. To build truly enriching connections, it is necessary to go beyond the image conceived in the mind and see people as they are in their totality, with their qualities and imperfections. This requires an exercise in conscious awareness and acceptance. Prioritize authenticity in your interactions. Instead of looking for someone who fits a predefined mold, look for those who value their depth and their peculiar way of feeling without trying to label or minimize them. The most nurturing relationships are those where you can express your sensitivity without fear of judgment, and where the other also shows himself in a true way. Open and honest communication is key. Express your expectations, but also be prepared to listen and understand each other's. Building meaningful bonds means recognizing that the connection doesn't have to be perfect to be valuable. Discard the need to seek the soulmate or the idealized friendship. Instead, celebrate the beauty of imperfection and the richness that diversity brings to relationships. By stripping off the armor of excessive caution little by little and allowing your vulnerability to be seen by trusted people, you make room for deep and lasting bonds to be established based on reality and mutual respect. Following the exploration of authentic relationships, it is timely to consider how the uniqueness of Pisces can manifest into a greater purpose and generate a positive impact on the world. Their rich inner life, coupled with keen intuition and boundless compassion, offers a set of valuable skills that can be directed beyond the personal realm, contributing significantly to the collective. Piscean sensitivity allows the perception of needs and sufferings of others that many do not notice, making you a natural agent of healing and support. Many Pisceans find their fulfillment in professions or activities that involve care, art, therapy, or any area that allows for the expression of their empathy and creative vision. Whether as an artist who touches souls, a therapist who helps in the journey of self-knowledge, or an activist who fights for a more just world, her presence is a catalyst for change and kindness. Allow your creativity to flow freely, whether in music, writing, or any form of expression that translates your dreamlike universe. Your intuition can be a powerful guide to identifying where your energy is most needed and how it can be applied most effectively. By assuming its role of being a bridge between the visible and the invisible, between dream and reality, Pisces not only finds a deep meaning to its existence, but also enriches the world with a perspective of compassion and hope that becomes increasingly essential.